Oh, hey folks, Paul with you here. It is now precisely 9:12 in the morning on this beautiful Saturday morning. Really, really nice. It's not super hot yet. It's still early in the morning, relatively speaking. And I just bought a big thing of Folgers coffee, crystals. I just can't do it, folks. I mean, Mexican coffee is what it is. It's shitty Mexican coffee. And I mean, it's like that with wine, with Mexico. If you don't want to have a raging headache and an awful come down, don't drink Mexican wine. And their coffee is the same. It's all the same. All that Dollar Tree coffee and this and that, and Folgers and Maxwell House, that's all Mexico. So I found one called Don Anuncio, and it comes from Spain. So I'm going to give that a try. A little bottle like that big, thin, is $7. But man, it's worth it because this Folgers is undrinkable, really. All right. Anyways, I'm a Tassels man. I like that European coffee. It's a little bit better. It's just something different about the body of it. Now, I did get a comment. Let's go to my channel. And Rudy has a nickname for me. I forgot what it is. Actually, my sister used to call me Paulie Ooch, the Pooch. So that's my only nickname that I've ever been given. But Rudy has another name. You can call me anything but late for dinner, Rudy. I don't care. Whatever it is. It was Paul Paranoia. Paranoid Paul. Could that be it? It's probably something. Okay, first of all, we may not get into the news because there may not be very much today. I did look at this this thing on the Biffle, the pilot. It was on my last channel, but it's gone now. I was convinced that this was a situation where the compartments let go, and it was. What was I going to tell you? I can't talk too loud here because I'm at Dunkin' Donuts. The manager doesn't like me here. Sorry, folks. I'm heavily distracted by noise. There are two compartments in the front, not far from the propeller, from the front of the nose of the aircraft. This is a jet engine. It's got twin jets in the rear. They're on the rear structure. And I was almost 100% sure that was the compartment opened up and something like a briefcase or a jacket went into the jet engines and either disrupted them or took away the airflow. That's what I would have bet. Now, the latest that's coming out on this is that that doesn't appear to be what it was. It was a flagrant violation of the rules of the, I guess the FAA or whatever. They had two pilots because the pilot was a former Delta Airline pilot, and Biffle himself was a qualified multi-engine pilot. Now, why he wasn't over in the passenger seat, on the co-pilot seat on the right, I have no idea. But the Delta pilot, in order to be slick, the retired Delta pilot decided to put his 18-year-old son, or whatever he was, 16, whatever he was, just a young lad. And he wasn't qualified in any way, except he had about 175 hours of flight time on a rotary engine. I believe is what that was, rotary engine or simple piston engine, I think is what they called it. And not multi. There's a difference between flying a Cessna and I guess what they call a 210 Cessna or whatever it is, where they have dual engines. But anyways, there's a world of difference and you have to be qualified. So according to what I read, according to the NTSB, they had trouble on the runway. And before they took off, the left engine was producing more thrust than the right engine. And Biffle said that he thought that there was a problem with the gauges. And regardless of that, absolutely regardless, if you're on the runway and you're doing 30, 40 knots, 70 knots, and you start getting problems with the motor, the engines. According to the pilot I listened to, and he seems like he's incredibly knowledgeable, because I listened to a couple, and he said that it's an immediate abort liftoff. You do not go into V1, which is where you lift the nose of the aircraft and you go in the air. That is an absolute no-no. So less than 80 knots, you avoid the takeoff. You shut it down. That's what they should have done. Now, Biffle warned them from the second seat back or whatever it was that there appeared to be more thrust on the left than the right. So they should have shut it down. They continued to take off. The other thing that's confusing about this is that they said that there was the pilots were out at around 1,500 feet. But when you're talking about 1,500 feet, you may be talking about sea level. You may not be able to be, or not sea level, but where the Garmin instrument thing, Garmin is like a directional thing that helps you. And 10 seconds later, after you're at 10, 12 seconds after you are at 1,200 feet, you may be at 450 feet, even though you're at the same altitude because of those mountains. That's what they were saying. They said that there was a serious danger of these permanently mounted antenna, for radio stations and everything else. That was a serious problem. But they were at 4,500 feet. And they said that they were pretty much immune from that. They were okay. The antennas wouldn't come up 3,000 feet, even if they were on a 1,200-foot mountain or whatever. So they were relatively okay at 4,500 feet. I guess they went off to the left, and this pilot gave the plane to his son on the right-hand seat of the co-pilot. I mean, Biffle, you're a race car driver, and you're telling me that you think it's so routine in a race car that coming out of a turn, you just give it over to a co-driver who was a learner? It's the same thing. It's unbelievable. So that's what the NTSB is saying. They're saying that they heard the conversations that he gave the aircraft over to the son at 18 years old, 175 hours on single piston engine. So his training there. So the kid is flying the plane, and I don't know why he didn't bring it up. I guess it was because he didn't want to go in the clouds because they had problem with visibility and they needed to find something. Now, initially, what I would have told you that happened is that when they went up into the air or on the runway, something sucked into the engine. And I still can't promise you that that's not what happened. I'm not convinced yet. They're also talking about a generator, this power inverter generator. That was, accordingly to what I saw on a channel, it said it was $3,000. Now, that is to restart engines once they're in the air if they fail, I believe. That's what they're for. So evidently, one of the engines stalled, according to what I can ascertain. And they just couldn't keep the plane up, evidently. And somehow they put the landing gear down. Now, what I thought, and it still may be true, although I doubt it, but it's possible, because I don't know yet. Like, if I was there with my state of mind, I'd want to see everything. And I mean, I'd break it down as much as I could. So, evidently, one of the engines was not producing as much as the other. That we know for sure, according to Biffle. That's what it says right on the flight recorder. And the kid gets up there and flies the plane. What this guy was doing, I guess he was trying to troubleshoot. So I don't know why he even did that. But they dropped the landing gear prematurely, that's for sure. And what I'm thinking is that evidently it was, and the engine was out. Evidently that left engine had stopped functioning. And according to like what I told you, there is a generator box, which is to start the things in air. It's to start things in air. the motor in air. So that's what I was told. I forgot what they call it. There's a name for it. Now, whether or not that was the case, I don't know. I'm still not convinced, like I told you, that something did not get ingested into those engines. I'm sorry. I'm just not convinced of that yet. So they may have, and this is my theory, they may have known that they were not going to make the runway. They may have seen by their descent that they couldn't stop it, in which case it would make sense to deploy the landing gear because it's going to slow them down, but you have to have it if you can't make the runway. You're going to have those out regardless. So evidently right there was a golf course, and what the pilot is saying is that the golf course gave a very unhealthy hope to the aircraft, because you get these long areas that look kind of landable when you're flying the aircraft. And the truth is, they are anything but, because they're all full of like mounds and hills, and it's the last thing you want to land on. But yet, that may have been the only thing they had. And with the 7,000 pounds of fuel that they had on board, since they were going a long way, it was I know it was over 5,000 pounds. So, and that plane, if you look at the structure of that airplane is what I would call a knock-em sock-em executive knock-you-out jet. In other words, the wings are so thin on that plane that when you get up at 40,000, 38,000 feet, you're not doing anything except cutting through that wind. It's a smooth ride. You don't do anything until you start coming down to land the plane, and then they put out these flaps and everything else. It's still not that thick, and you just make terrific time. That's why that jet was so coveted, because of the fact that it was so well designed for comfortable flight and very effective flight, except when you had an emergency. That's for sure. You can't convince me otherwise. So that would make sense if he deployed the landing gear, if they thought about going down onto the golf course. But deploying the landing gear at that time cost them their lives, because if they didn't deploy that landing gear, they probably would have had a chance to get on the runway. They didn't, as it were, they didn't, because they hit the light post right before the runway and then hit the trees. So it was terrible, absolutely terrible. The sad thing is that they knew that they were going to die, because they, first of all, hit the light post, and that did some sort of damage, but it probably took off the wing, and then it went to that side, and then they hit the trees on that side, and they still didn't blow up yet. They knew they were going to die, and once they hit the ground, that fuel took care of the rest. And it's really sad. And they said, I saw the video there, and it said there were no survivors. When they looked, they said no one could survive that crash. It was all charred. So the fuselage was cooked beyond recognition. So it's a sad event. Some of the pilots are just blaming it on the child and the pilot and Biffle. It was a completely illegal thing what they did, according to FAA standards. But Biffle should have been in the right-hand seat. He was qualified to fly a multi-engine aircraft, according to what I saw. So that's that. Take it for what you will. And I'm still not convinced that engine did not go out because of something ingested into the engine. On the left side, the compartment, the storage compartment, was open on the crash. So it might have been open on the crash, it may not have been. They didn't seem to mention anything on that, but they were not clear on their communications. The kid just said, we're having some trouble. We have to figure it out, or gauges, or whatever the hell it was. But it's really sad. So that's the latest that I have on that, okay? And that's it. And then, I'll keep you updated on what I know and what I keep hearing. The best guy was Flying for Money. That channel, That guy laid it all out in spades. He covered everything, even more so than the other one. Even the other channel, Mentor Pilot and all these other ones, or whatever it was, they also said it, but they didn't give it with such detail as that channel that I just told you, Flying for Money, 777 or whatever it was, Flying for Money. Anyways, folks, take care, and I'll be right back with the news and maybe some commentary. Bye.